The real news empowers us. It empowers us because it belongs to us. It doesn't receive any money, any corporate funding. It receives money from you, and it depends upon you because it belongs to you.
With a financial bailout total now in excess of $8 trillion and no end to the crisis in sight, many economic experts are warning of a nearing depression. In an internal memo regarding the unprecedented moves global financial authorities are making, Citigroup's chief technical strategist said, "They are throwing the kitchen sink at this. The world is not going back to normal after the magnitude of what they have done." One particularly outspoken economist, Peter Schiff, is claiming that the US dollar will plunge in value due to hyperinflation. The Real News spoke to him from his company headquarters in Connecticut.
Hyperinflation ultimately results when the demand for money collapses, where confidence is lost in money, and people won't hold it. Because paper money intrinsically is worthless, and the confidence can go away. When the confidence goes away, the buying power goes away. History is replete with examples of hyperinflation. It is not uncommon. It is something that generally happens with a paper currency. When the money is just a piece of paper, it's very easy for the public to lose confidence, especially when the government is printing too much of it, which is what's happening in our economy. The government is trying to create additional consumer spending, and they're trying to do it by printing money. Given what the government is doing, we're facing depression, an inflationary depression. If the government was not making the problem worse, then we would be facing something far less drastic. But even if the government did all the right things, which is basically allowing the market to work, the resolution of years of reckless spending would not come without pain. What's happening today is not the problem. What we are living through are the consequences of the problem. The problem was that we blew all our money, that we borrowed and spent ourselves into bankruptcy, and we allowed this phony economy, this service sector economy, to replace the industrial economy we once had, but it's not viable. It was only viable temporarily because we were able to borrow money from the rest of the world to make it work.
As of November 19th, the total U.S. federal debt was $10.6 trillion, adding unfunded Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, veterans' pensions, and similar obligations. This figure rises to over $53 trillion of debt, or roughly $500,000 per American household.
I think most Americans think the government has money and they can just spend it. The government has no money. The government has to take money from somebody else in order to give it to a different somebody. People think if they just print the money, if they don't raise taxes, that it's a freebie. But it's not a freebie. We have to pay the cost of government programs, and if they pay for them or finance them with inflation, it debases the value of our savings, it debases the value of our wages, and prices rise across the board. The economy is going to continue to weaken. The government is going to continue these foolhardy policies meant to interfere with the market's correction of the imbalances. They're going to try to encourage even more reckless consumption, that we go even deeper into debt. And so if we are basically in trouble because we borrowed and spent too much money, we are going to be in much more trouble every time the government stimulates the economy, because the only thing that the stimulus does is increases our debt. The dollar either has no future at all, meaning it'll just become worthless, or it's going to have a very rocky road, that it's going to lose a lot of value. If it's going to be maintained in its present form as the currency of this country, there's going to have to be some radical and very painful changes in the way we run monetary policy and the government.
Economists are not alone in expressing their concern about the future. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon last week said, "Without exaggeration, we can say that the well-being of our people and the health of our societies, even the future of our planet, depend on what we do today and in the weeks to come. If not handled correctly, today's financial crisis," he said, "will become tomorrow's human crisis." The danger ultimately is a cascading series of crises, each building on the other, with potentially devastating consequences for all.
There are times when reality just asserts itself, in spite of the haze created by television news and entertainment. Sometimes crisis rips a tear in the fabric of myth and propaganda. Now a profound economic crisis has ripped asunder the American dream itself. Millions of people losing jobs and homes. They lack proper health care and any real sense of security. Since 2001, workers' wages have fallen or remained stagnant, even though worker productivity has risen almost 33%. By 2006, the top 1% of households were receiving 23% of all pre-tax income, more than double what it was in the 1970s. It's the greatest concentration of income since 1928. As unemployment rises, we need to know why this crisis is happening and what we can do to defend ourselves. Why are wages so low? Why is the society so laden with debt? Is it in ordinary Americans' interest to have $1 trillion military budget to project power across the globe? Corporate television news won't ask these questions, let alone try to find answers. Only a truly independent news network can tackle these questions with courage and with ordinary people's interests in mind. We need a news network that's independent of corporations, governments, and political parties. We need the real news. But there won't be a real news network unless we raise substantial funds right away. The current financial crisis has hit our funding hard. Together, we do have the power to turn it around. There are already hundreds of thousands of people watching the real news every month. If everyone pitches in, we can build an internet and cable television network that will change the face of media forever. You can organize house parties, talk to friends at school and at work, send email blasts and spread the word. Distribute this video to everyone you know. Pick up the phone and call a few friends and suggest they visit therealnews.com. Invest just 10 minutes a day to ask friends and colleagues to join the campaign to create a truly independent source of internet and television news. Together, we can build this network. Just 50,000 people at $10 a month gets us to our first level of sustainability. You can help us reach this goal, and when we do, we'll move to television in millions of homes across North America. Help us reach an audience in the millions. Please contribute generously. Spread the word. Let's make the Real News television network a reality.
Your tax-deductible donation makes it possible. Please contribute at therealnews.com.